Hey guys, Giancarlo here with another video. This time we're going to do a quick comparison of the Nexus 6P versus the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call this device the Edge Plus. So right now I have the Nexus 6P aluminum version, 64 gig variant, obviously with the black carbon fiber skin on it from Slick Wraps, and I have the gold 64 gig Edge Plus over here that I've had for about 2 months. It was my daily driver for about 2 months, and this has been my daily driver for the past 2 weeks. So first things first, let's compare the physical differences of each of the devices. So as you can see, the 6P is slightly taller than the Edge Plus. So the 6P is 159 millimeters tall, while it's 154 millimeters tall for the Edge Plus. It's also slightly, the 6P is also ever so slightly thicker than it. It's 78 millimeters thick, while the Edge Plus is 76 millimeters. So it's barely noticeable, but it's there. And I'll be honest, you wouldn't notice it holding the two devices. Thickness, 6P is 7.3 millimeters thick, while the Edge Plus is 6.9 millimeters thick. What that means is you have more of an edge to grab onto with the 6P compared to the Edge Plus. You'd still have an edge to hold on to. It's not very wide. It's not, you know, it doesn't bother me. It's not sharp at all or anything. It's actually nice in hand. Other people call it awkward, but I don't find it awkward to hold at all. Although I do appreciate the fact that the 6P does have a little bit more thickness to grab onto. So I feel like if you were bumped, you're more likely to drop this phone than the other phone, especially because of the glass and how slippery it is. Don't get me wrong, the aluminum unibody of the Nexus is very slippery as well, and that's why I opted to go ahead and skin it. The beauty of the gold Edge Plus, I just can't get myself to cover it up with any skin. So but it is a fingerprint magnet, and it means that it remains slippery. So that's something to keep in mind. In terms of weight, guys, the 6P is 178 grams, while the Edge Plus is 153 grams. You can't really notice that this is slightly heavier than this, just in my opinion. You have an aluminum, on the 6P you have an aluminum unibody, like I said, with a visor that houses the camera on the device, and the camera actually is a 12 megapixel camera. You have laser autofocus and a dual LED flash, while on Samsung you have the 16 megapixel shooter with the fingerprint, the heart rate sensor and the flash as well on there. I will be honest, I actually really don't use the heart rate sensor at all, and you have 5 megapixel in front, whereas this has an 8 megapixel shooter in front. So you have a better camera in front with a wider angle lens for taking selfies. In terms of screen, you have the curved 5.7 AMOLED display, Samsung display on the Samsung device, which actually has 518 pixels per inch. On the Nexus, you actually also have a 5.7 AMOLED display on it. That is also a Samsung panel. So this is the latest and greatest from Samsung, very similar to what they put on the Note 5. But in my opinion, the Super AMOLED display on the Samsung device is noticeably brighter. Both have deep blacks, both have colors that pop, but you definitely have a brighter screen on the Samsung. So even with the brightness turned all the way up on the Nexus 6P. Not that the Nexus 6P has a bad display, not at all by any means. Compare this to any other device, it'll probably come out on top, but because Samsung opted to put a little bit more brightness, or able to turn up the brightness on this device, on the Edge Plus, a little bit more, then I give the edge to the Edge. In terms of your feel in hand, like I said, I prefer the Nexus 6P. Next thing you'll want to know is, I'm sure we'll jump onto the camera right away. The camera, like I said, is just 12.3 megapixels on the 6P. But it has it takes pictures with a bigger pixel density, right? So what that means, even though this is 16 megapixels, it's actually able to hold its own. So let's step aside from specs for a second. If you're like most people and you take your phone out, you want to go ahead and take a picture, and you have a few seconds to do it. You take the picture, you snap it. You want to make sure you can count on it and you don't have to, redo and stuff. Versus this camera, where there's a shortcut also by double tapping the home screen, just like the Nexus, and going ahead and taking a picture of that device. Both cameras are equal to me. Some people will prefer one picture over the other. To me, they take really, really good pictures. Gone are the days where you'll be ashamed to take a picture with your Nexus and borrow your friend's Samsung device. To me, they're both equal in terms of speed of taking the picture. This has a slightly wider angle lens when taking pictures. And the pictures on the 6P, the 6P is 4:3, well, it's 16:9 on the Samsung Galaxy Edge Plus. The pictures also come out a little bit brighter on the Samsung pictures, and a little bit more true to life colors on the 6P. For more on this, if you guys want to have a ton of polls on Google Plus, under with different, it's a semi-blind poll because I don't give it out right which picture or which phone took which picture, but I have varying lighting scenarios and different lighting at night and daylight, indoor, outdoor. So if you guys want to check that out, I would highly encourage you guys to do that. Just taking my phone off airplane mode so that I can give you guys my show you guys the polls here. So some of my polls are indoors and outdoors. You can also catch some of my other reviews with chargers on there, but my last poll, with regards to pictures here, so you could go ahead and vote your favorite one. If you tap and hold one picture, it'll give you the larger image size for that picture. And if you scroll over, you see the next picture and you can go ahead and vote on it. That way you can zoom in on certain things. Like we'll use this as an example. Do you guys think this picture is better, or this picture is better? They're similar in a lot of ways, but it'll appear differently on your computer monitor or on your phone. So I'd suggest you check that out. You make your own vote. Look at the different polls, not just one, different lighting scenarios, and feel free to comment at the bottom of this video once you get to see them all, or some of them, and give your own opinion on which camera you think is better. I will tell you this, if you're into taking pictures and you want to take the pictures in pro mode, you want to adjust, you're the type of person to adjust everything on a camera, the ISO, the white balance. Samsung has a pro mode that'll do that, whereas you would have to download a third-party app for the 6P, which you can do as well. I found this camera app called Open Camera that does a very similar thing. But if you want it out of the box, you want those features, and you want it baked in best as it could be, and that's all you care about, then Samsung Edge Plus would be the phone to go with. All right, in terms of battery life, now that we've gone over camera, which is better? And before I get, you know, the battery life on the 6P is definitely better when it's idle. I can go to sleep with 92%, wake up with about 90%, so only 2% gone. I usually charge my device fully before I go to bed, unplug it so I don't overcharge a device, whereas all my previous devices, including the Edge Plus, I would have to leave it plugged in to guarantee that I have 100% or close to it the next morning when I leave for work, because there's usually not enough time to charge my device in the morning. So so if you like that, if you like out the box latest and greatest Marshmallow, which is the latest Android operating system, then I would go for the Nexus. Gives you a couple of features as well aside from those, which I'll go over later. But don't get me wrong, Samsung gets me through the day as well. If I wake up, you know, my daily usage is this. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll unplug my device, I'm on the train in the morning for about an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes, and I'll be streaming podcasts and video to my Bluetooth headset, and I have LTE on and everything. So if that's similar usage, I can get home with my 6P with about 25%. I would say 30% at the end of the day. Since about 7:30 I've been using this device. It's already 3 p.m. I'm 54% on this device, 90% of this device because I topped it off before this review. But with the Samsung, even without those, I can probably get home with similar usage, about 3 hours screen on time, and still have about 15% left. So about half of what I have on the 6P, still enough to get me through the day till I walk back in my apartment at about 8 o'clock at night. The good news is both phones do fast charging. Samsung does have fast charging for this device, and it's compatible with Qualcomm 2.0 chargers and stuff, quick chargers. So if you have those chargers and you accumulated them, you can readily use them because this is still micro USB, whereas the 6P now uses the new way of the future, which is USB Type-C connectors, which are interchangeable and great. They also do quick charge, so I mean, in my opinion, I don't know what the correct what you call it, but because it's USB-C, it charges your device extra quick. The specs say 0 to 100 in 90 minutes. I find that when I get home and I only have 25%, I can plug it in for a good 30 minutes, and I mean 45 minutes, and I'll be topped off again or close to it. So as you can see, it's charging rapidly now. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to, so both devices do great in terms of battery life. Marshmallow gives this the slight edge, no pun intended, because of those and everything. So that's a great feature to have. Although Samsung does have the wireless charger, so you could just put your device on and it'll start charging, which is amazing. And I wish this device has it, but it doesn't. But not a deal breaker, right? Just a pity I have a couple of these fast chargers now, because Samsung Note 5 and Edge Plus are the only devices that tend to fast charge, and now I can't do that with my brand new phone. So that's one thing I wish this had that this has. But soon, when most devices are USB-C, I'll be saying the same thing about this phone. I'll be like, I wish I had USB Type-C, and I don't have it on this phone, so now I have to carry an extra charger that's slightly different, even though now it's the opposite. But trust me guys, more and more devices will have this cable, and soon you could use it for your laptops, your iPhone, your tablets and stuff will all have USB Type-C, and it'll be interchangeable and stuff. So that's something to consider. In terms of operating system, I did get into this. This runs the stock Google operating system, pure Android as Google intended it to be. It's fast, it's quick, it's very smooth, there are no lags. I meant to press this. You do get the updates as soon as they come out straight from Google, including the not so sexy Android security patches that they send monthly, that they promised that they'd send. I have the November 1st one, so very soon I'll get the December one as well. Meanwhile, Samsung is still on Android 5.1.1 Lollipop. There's some news on when you'll be getting Lollipop. I read in a publication that it's supposed to be December, but they've just delayed it to January for this device, and I'm hoping they'll release it soon so both devices can be more on equal footing, right? Maybe we'll revisit it then. But that's one of the trade-offs you give because you're dealing with Samsung and they have to deal with the carriers. Now your updates are slower and you're getting a full 3-4 months after the release. And if you're into having the latest and the greatest and being secure all the time, and that's priority number one for you, then the Nexus phone is definitely the phone to get. Other than that, I mean, there's added value in having Samsung TouchWiz, which is way lighter now than it used to be on previous Samsung devices. You can have, multi-window on this. It obviously looks very similar on both devices because I'm running the Google launcher on the Edge Plus. I'm also using a material theme on it, material dark theme, so it looks very similar. I'm trying to fool myself into thinking it is running stock Android because that's what I do want. The good thing is you can make it look very similar to stock Android, and you can also take advantage of some of the features of this phone. Right now I'm doing dual, the two apps feature, the split screen feature for the Edge Plus, which your 6P cannot do. There's no dual window feature you just have to switch apps, but you get the goodness or you get the greatness of being able to multitask and some of the extra features that Samsung brings to the table. With the good comes the bad, right? I have S Health on it, and the Samsung Music app, which is Milk if I'm not mistaken, which are things that I can disable but I cannot uninstall, and it's on this device, and I just don't need it and I don't want it and stuff. So I feel like I don't need it. There's Samsung Pay on here in addition to Android Pay, which is very convenient because you can go to any store. They don't even have to be compliant, or they don't really have to do anything on their end. All it is any regular magnetic stripe reader. You put your phone next to it, you activate Android Pay, it's supposed to go through. I have tried it 3 times, guys. Maybe it's just me. It failed on all 3 times. I wasn't brave enough to do it a second time at the same store. So that's something I have yet to get going. But Samsung has promotions, and if you use it, you get $50 credit. So it's great. Android Pay, I use it all the time, and wherever I can use it, wherever Apple Pay is accepted as well. So I have had occasions where it didn't work, but it mostly had to do with the reader at the store, right? They tell me outright, oh, that's not working. I'm like, okay, it's good to know it's not Android Pay, and it's the terminal that the NFC terminal, for whatever reason, is not working. You get added features because of Marshmallow, which is eventually going to be on the Edge Plus. But right now, since we're comparing the device right this second, then I would have to give the edge to that to the Nexus, because you get the updates. You may not get some of the extra features of Samsung, but you also get way more fluidity on the device. It's way smoother. Not that Samsung's device is jerky at all. Not to say that, but I will notice that sometimes after 2 weeks of me not rebooting the phone, then it'll start to slow down and stuff, whereas I have yet to experience that on the 6P. So that's one of the things. I would say, this is what it comes down to, guys. By the way, before I move on from that, you obviously have the fingerprint sensor for both devices, the Nexus imprint on this device, and the Samsung fingerprint scanner in this device. Both are pretty quick. One advantage of the 6P is from screen off, I can just put my finger there and turn on the screen. And on this device, if the screen is off and I put my finger there, it doesn't necessarily activate. I have to physically press the button and then leave my finger there an extra second and powers on. The advantage with the 6P and the Nexus imprint on the Nexus is that it's already tied into Marshmallow, whereas Samsung had to, obviously they were let's give Samsung credit, they were ahead of the curve with the fingerprint sensors, and they had to tie it into their, to TouchWiz and stuff, and make it work by themselves on certain apps. So hopefully once Marshmallow is released on this, then it'll function the same way, where it's already baked into the operating system, right? And there you go. So that's my mini review of the Nexus 6P versus the Edge Plus. I hope I helped somebody decide on which phone to get. Basically, it just depends on what you prioritize, because each of us prioritizes different things. If you're after the prettiest phone on the market, bar none, you don't mind if other people have it too, you just want, to have the prettiest, most eye-catching phone out there, get the gold Samsung Edge Plus. There's no phone quite like it, I mean, other than other phones like this, although they are out there now, because I do see them on the subway and at the office. People have them already. You don't mind other people having the same phone, you just want the beauty of the phone, and you don't care about updates. You take pictures in pro mode and adjust, ISO and stuff like that, and you're a big phone photographer, then this is the phone for you, right? Just get a case on it or skin on it so that it's not too slippery and too much of a fingerprint magnet, because boy, that's a lot of fingerprints now. If you want quick updates, if you want a solid phone that does everything great, in my opinion, takes beautiful photos out the box, smooth, gets the updates, I can't really knock this for anything. There's nothing on this phone I wish it had, except for wireless charging. That's really the only thing I wish that this phone had, that it did that, and I think it would be the perfect phone. But that is me, and I have different use cases. Each of us, to each their own. So there you go. I'm going to leave you to decide which phone you want to get, depending on what you prioritize, what's important to you. Give it a try in your store, but for the price, when this phone was first released, and I'm sure it might be a little lower now, this was like $950 for the 64 gig, and this cost me about $550, so literally half the price. And this phone certainly does not feel like half the price of this other phone, even though it's more beautiful and stuff, and the screen is slightly brighter. I can't see a world where, or based on functionality, based on what you can do, based on everything it is, this is definitely not half the phone this is. They're very, very close to one another in every way. Let me know if you have any more questions, something that I failed to discuss on today's comparison. I encourage you to check out my Google Plus page, or you can check me out at about.me. slash Gian Barreto. I will post a link on my About Me and my Google Plus page at the bottom of this video as well, where you'll be able to find the different polls we were talking about on pictures that were taken with both phones under different lighting conditions. You guys can give your input after taking a look at that. Let me know which pictures you think came out better. That's it for me. Just wanted to say thank you so much for checking out my video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.